Okay, the next movie that I'm getting ready to film a reaction to is for a movie called, it's a movie, obviously it's a movie. It's called The Woman in Black. This one was recommended to me. Why am I even holding this? It's not time. Okay. Sorry, I get distracted. I was holding my inhaler and I don't know why. There's no reason to be, whatever. Maybe I was just moving it out of the way. Whatever. This movie had been on the poll of movies that I had put up asking for suggestions as to what to watch. Event Horizon won the polls, but The Woman in Black was next. Now, I have not seen this version of the movie. I saw the one with Daniel Radcliffe in it. I wasn't super impressed, but, and I did not know that there was another movie that came before it. I don't know how similar the movie that I saw is going to be story-wise with this, other than just the fact that there's a woman in black ghost or whatever. But this one does seem to have better reviews overall. I believe it was a made-for-TV movie. So probably it's going to be not too high in things like gore or, you know, violence or anything like that. So I believe this movie came out in 1989, so it was pretty tame back then compared to what we've got now on TV. Anyway, I'm just going to, I said listen, like I'm getting ready to watch an audiobook. I'm just going to watch maybe about 15 minutes of it. I also was watching an episode of Lethal Weapon, and I stopped roughly halfway through that to kind of, you know, change a pace and watch something new. So I'll try to keep up with watching this, and hopefully it won't take me too terribly long to get it done. So I'm going to go ahead and set the timer, and then I will start the video. Okay, I'm getting ready to start the video, and I'm sorry, in my intro, I completely forgot I had the fan on. I've been really good about that, but sometimes I forget. Okay, the fan is off. I have started the timer. Let's go ahead and check out the movie. Oh, it's based on a book. Okay. Now I'm curious to see if they've got an audiobook of it. Now, I remember in the first movie, the character was a widower with a child. So I wonder if it's going to be the same situation.
What's that? It's bloody years.
Getting it changed, that's a hard part. Things are very...
They don't bloody care.
It's not that.
Do you bloody care?
Right.
I keep feeling like that guy's going to hork
Just
something
to
up.
as soon as there's any news.
Who is this person with the appalling sniff? A client of yours?
He was gassed.
What?
In the trenches.
No.
He was in a gas attack. I didn't realise.
You must cultivate authority.
I know.
Take
Okay.
a look at yourself.
I thought you'd sponge that off. My wife, that is.
Mr. King. To have saddled yourself.
You're not a widower.
with a wife and family.
I
can't.
I mean, the
Mr.
background
King, I've
history.
told you I can't. I'm needed here.
Well, I gather she had no immediate family.
No friends.
I knew he
An
was
old
going to say
woman
that.
living alone, you might...
What was left unsaid there?
All right, laddie,
For him
come
a
with
ride.
me.
Yeah.
Go round by the Gifford Arms.
So he's laughing, says this
Take
time of
Miss Kidd's
night.
case.
I wonder
Thank
if this
you.
is because
Go round
there's
that way, Mr. Kidd.
supernatural stuff that he already knows about, or unless he's just laughing because it's so out of the way, cabs don't happen after a certain time in the evening.
Anything at all, man. That's where you can find me.
Thank you.
You'll be needing them.
Solicitor.
I like the
Here
audio
are you? What is it?
in here.
Farm leases?
Oh, it must have been a
Any
commercial
kind of
break there.
exit?
Okay, so that was almost perfect timing. There was a very obvious break, which would have signified a commercial break at the time that it was on, and I was just less than 30 seconds away from my timer going off, so I decided to go ahead and stop it there. Not very far into it, so obviously don't have a whole lot of observations yet, other than the stuff that I have said while I've been watching it. I do like the audio in this, actually. I just listening to the voices and the steps and the doors opening. And I know this movie is more than 30 years old, but there's something kind of calming and soothing about the way they've done the audio in this. And I like that. That's standing out to me. Just, it reminds me of how the audio in The Vast of Night made me feel. It was just, there was something so soothing about it, or comfortable about it. I don't even know how to describe it accurately, but I'm curious to see where this is going to go. I'm also curious to see how similar this is going to be with the 2012 movie that I saw. In that movie, like I said, Daniel Radcliffe's character was a widower. In the end, if you guys haven't seen it yet, I'll try to remember to put up a spoiler warning. But in the end, he dies. And I can't remember if he also had a kid, and the kid died. I honestly, I don't remember. I just remember he was very tormented. He was very unhappy. And so when he died, you could kind of get the sense that that was something that maybe he wanted. I've only saw it the once. Oh my, see, I knew I was getting ready to say it like that. That's why I went ahead and just let it happen. I've only seen it once, and I wasn't super crazy about it. It was just depressing, and I didn't think it was all that good, to be honest. So I just have vague memories of that other one. So I don't know how much I'm going to really be able to compare. Maybe I should have rewatched the first one. I mean, not the first one, the one I saw before I watched this, because there's going to be stuff that I'm sure that's going to be different between them, and I won't know what it is. And I don't know which is going to be the most faithful representation, or, you know, the most faithful retelling of the book version of this, because I didn't even know it was based on a book, but I'm curious to find out. I guess if this character dies in the end, I don't know how interested I'll be to read the book. I mean, I want him to be able to have a happily ever after and go back home to his family. That's what I'm hoping, but I don't know. So, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and call it quits. I have spent quite a bit of time filming tonight because I had extra time. So, got a lot of videos under my belt tonight. That's good. That's great. I love it when that happens, and still have the energy to continue, but I need to actually stop and do some editing. So, I'm going to go ahead and call it quits for now, and we'll see you guys whenever I pick back up again. Maybe tomorrow. Don't know. We'll see. Alrighty. Bye. I'm getting ready to have my second viewing, not the second time viewing, but my second day of watching The Woman in Black. This is the original movie from, well, I guess it's I don't think there was one before this one, from 1989, based on a book. And then, of course, they had the one with Daniel Radcliffe in it in 2012. I wasn't hugely thrilled with that one, but I'm about 15 minutes into this one. I'm enjoying it so far, but nothing huge has really happened. So I'm going to watch another 15 minutes. I actually had time to come close to finishing it, but I decided that I wanted to continue to do this in parts because there's a comedy reaction and a trailer or two that I wanted to watch before I call it quits for today. So I'm just doing another 15-minute viewing session, and let's go ahead and get started. Oh, let's start my timer so I don't lose track of time. See, listen to that Foley. If it is Foley. That's so pleasing to my ears. The way it sounds, like them walking on the ground. Oh, gorgeous horses, look at them. So beautiful.
That we should believe that he will reveal his
definitely
purpose
was not very popular,
in his
was
own
she?
good time, whether in this to know the unknowable.
Mm-hmm. I
Only
figured he
to
was going to
trust that
spot
God in his
her
wisdom.
in here.
Dust to
There
dust.
she is again.
I thought she looked unwell, but she's
She is
there
again.
now.
Okay. They're aware of
Go
her.
away.
He doesn't want to look at her.
Shouldn't watch like that. Look, you frightened that
Maybe
poor
if they
woman
look
away.
at her, something bad.
What? She's gone.
Thank you.
Leave. Don't want him around anymore. What the heck was that?
Seems right enough, far as I can
Something's gonna
tell.
happen. Those logs are going to come down and hurt somebody.
A big bunch of my white.
I'm following the girls. Maybe she shouldn't have been stealing that candy. Karma or the woman in black? Creepy. Dark.
This were our.
Oh, they do have electricity in here?
Oh, you got electric light. Thank you.
For how long? So you'll leave in there.
I'll be back before the chai.
Okay. Okay, I'm stopping here for the night. I'm 30 minutes into it now. I don't know when a very apparent commercial break would happen, like what went on the first night that I started watching this. But I need to, in order to have time to film other stuff, I need to go. I've had my fan on the whole time. I've been doing really bad about that lately. I was doing good for a long time, and then, and there's really not any need to. What happens is I turn it. Oh my gosh, I turn it on in between just so my computer doesn't get too hot. It's been doing good, but I just turn it on just kind of like as a precautionary measure, and then I forget sometimes to turn it off like I did now. Damn it. Anyway, I'm going to move on to watch a comedy reaction, maybe a trailer or two, before I quit for the night. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here for today and pick up hopefully tomorrow with maybe another 15-20 minutes. I've got probably about 40 minutes to go, so maybe I could finish this in 2 more viewings unless I decide to just do one long 40-minute viewings, because the movie's about an hour and 40 minutes or so. Anyway, okay, well, that's it for this one for day 2. And I'll pick up again later. Okay, this is getting ready to be day 3 of my viewing of The Woman in Black, the original 1989 version. And I'm about 30 minutes into it. I actually do have time enough right now to finish it if I wanted to. It's just I kind of feel like I'd like to watch other things. So I don't think I'm going to watch it all. I don't think I'm going to finish it tonight. I'll be really close to finishing it though, because I've only got about 40 minutes left. But I'm going to set a timer for myself and stop and then maybe finish up the rest of it tomorrow. Oh, of course. Chibi. It's nothing. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and proceed. This is approximately where I left off yesterday. So if there's anything repeated, I'll just cut it out whenever I do the editing. Let me see the woman again. Oh, he felt a cold chill. So she's a ghost. Now she's gone. No, she's still there. Is this supposed to be the lady who died? He's running to his car. He's out of there. You really think that's going to stop her? Nope. Yeah, I'd be turning on every light in the house too. But then it'll eventually turn off because that thing will only last but so long. It's a big house. It's a huge house. So many rooms in this house. My gosh. Scared the crap out of me. That's just a recording. Something that's been recorded. I think they talked about one of these machines in the Dracula book I worked on.
This is Arthur Kidd speaking.
Yeah.
As a Mongol,
They call it a
Mrs.
phonograph,
Bradlow's
right?
rubbish.
Is he going to hear anything in the background when he plays it back? And he's going to play some stuff back. We've come so far since then, haven't we? When it comes to technology, audio recording technology. Ooh. This one get lost in the fog. He's going to end up stuck there, isn't he?
Check quick!
This will be the real guy. I didn't see how old the... Oh, it's a child. Okay. Did it say 7 years? Okay. Something's up.
Well, she neither spoke nor came near me. If she was able to make me afraid, well, that was all.
She did move toward him.
Take the dog.
I had a feeling he was going to say that because they kept
You need a
focusing on the
companion.
dog. Okay, this is a good place to stop. About 21 minutes to go, and he's getting ready to go stay at the house for who knows how long. There's going to be a lot that's going to be happening in the last 21 minutes. Or, I mean, there's going to be credits too, I'm sure. I'm just curious to find out whether this character is going to make it through. I'm doubtful, but I guess we'll see. So far, the creep factor is not huge in this movie. I mean, it's pretty tame compared to a lot of stuff that people are exposed to nowadays, and you know, things from 10, 20 years before that was pretty tame too. Well, I mean, there was The Exorcist, but this was a TV movie, so they could only, you know, go but so far. Anyway, I guess we'll just see what happens whenever I pick back up again, which will probably be tomorrow, I'm guessing. It's not a huge amount of time left on this, so yeah. So it'll end up being about 4 viewings. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up for now and move on to something else before I have to leave. Which time do I have? Yeah. Okay. Later, guys. Okay. I was way off on my math. I don't know what the heck I was thinking, but for some reason, I had done a miscalculation. The first 2 nights I watched 15 minutes of this, which makes 30 minutes total. And then the second night I watched about 20 minutes. So that brings it up to it was like maybe a little bit more, whatever. But somehow in my brain, those first 15 minutes I translated into 30 minutes each, which means I had done this really wonky, crazy, inaccurate math in my brain, telling myself that I had seen an hour of it already. I watched another 20 minutes of it, which means I thought I had 20 minutes-ish left. That was way off. Obviously, I really have not even seen an hour of it total. So I have just under an hour left. I thought I was going to be able to finish watching it today. That will not be the case because I have to leave after a bit. So I only have enough time to watch a little bit less than 30 minutes. So I'm going to set my timer so I don't let the time go by too much. And let's see what happens from here. He's returning back to the home. I mean, I was thinking there was a lot that was going to have to happen in 20 minutes. Wow, that was really bad. Okay, so he's returning to the home. He's brought a dog with him. I don't know why. So he won't be alone, but if it's a ghost intent on hurting him, that dog's not going to be able to stop it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start the timer and press play. There's the dog. Oh, there he is. Okay. That doesn't look like the same dog. Wait. I thought the dog had black coloring on his face. That was not the same dog. He had a stand-in. Oh, maybe it's just because I only saw one side of his face. Maybe that was what it was. Seriously, Chivy? What are you doing? Oh my goodness. She's wanting attention. Chivy. There you go, little girl. You're blocking my view. You're distracting me. You're distracting me. Okay. Well, we get down now. What? You got food in your foot? The ghost wagon. You should close the door so he doesn't get out. You don't want him to come out. Not even foggy. Oh, okay, he's gonna pull a Shining. It's open. Yep. I knew it. No lights in there he can turn on. He's even gonna try. Okay. Ooh. Is it a child playing? Child ghost playing? The dog's all chill now. I thought he was going to go back upstairs. He's going to go turn the lights back on, or is the dog going to run off? The dog's just chilling. I do know the dog makes it back safely somewhere because I heard mention of it when I was trying to find my place. And I realized I hadn't seen nearly as much as I thought I had. They were mentioning something about how Spider made it back or something like that. So I knew he's okay. I just didn't know when he had run off. Here she comes
Dog
again.
is gone.
Jimmy. Oh, there's those noises again.
My own kin.
She's a relative. Oh,
Arthur, kid! You in there?
oh, okay. It was a real wagon that time. Is it all gone? Oh, it's all a shambles.
But there were others.
His baby?
Lots of others.
Is his baby that's gonna die? That little toy gonna be in there? Yeah. Under his pillow. Yep.
Hello?
The ghost has followed him there now. Okay. I would let it continue to play a little bit longer, but I do have to go. I don't have much more time now before I have to take off. So, yeah, I've got probably 25-ish minutes left to go. The next time I sit down and watch this, I'm going to try to watch it all and not do any more funky math in my head as far as how much time I've got left. I'm pretty clear now how much more time I've got left. My goodness, that was crazy. I don't know what in the world was wrong, why I did it that way, but whatever. Okay, well, this is the end of, I think, day 4. So, yeah, day 5 should be the last viewing session. I'll get done with this eventually. All right, you guys. Bye. Okay, I've got enough time now to finish watching, finally, The Woman in Black. I've got, I think, just under 30 minutes left, and I believe I can squeeze it in. I've got, it's early yet, for me anyway. Where I left off the last time was he had been out at the house and some freaky things happened. This is the second time he went to the house, I think. So yeah, and some freaky things happened. And he's kind of traumatized, and he's been brought back to the bed and breakfast or whatever, where he's been staying. And I think I cut it off around this point where he wakes up and the little toy soldier is under his pillow or something, and he hears the child's voice. So I'll probably have to cut out anything that's a repeat, but this is approximately where I stopped. So let's begin. Ooh. I wasn't expecting that. Is that the woman? Okay. I thought he was sick. It looked like he was sick.
Its course.
And he woke up, he was a little sweaty. I wondered if he was sick. That was a weird edit there. All of a sudden the guys were in the room and then suddenly they weren't, and I feel like that could have been done maybe a little bit better. I wonder how long he's been sick for. Is he back home? Or is he seeing things? I was waiting to see if he would acknowledge her, because I thought if he didn't acknowledge her, then she was just a mirage or a, hallucination to the main guy. Like when you go back and rewatch The Sixth Sense, you can see all of the clues after you've seen it the first time. Is the ghost going to follow him back home? If he does indeed go home.
I could only believe it was all over.
It's all done, Margaret.
No, it's not. Daddy! That was going to be that toy. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just his imagination.
How dare you?
I think you let me go because you were scared.
Yeah.
It's here.
It was delivered, let me see,
Oh, yeah, the
2
box that
days
was in his
ago
hotel
by rail.
Yes, I may.
No,
I would just
excuse me.
throw it away. Maybe this is what's going to attach the ghost back to him here in London. And he's going to burn it all. Don't set the place on... That's going to be awful if he sets that... If the office gets set on fire. Dude, don't. It's out on the floor. What the hell? What? Wow, he's completely lost his mind. Oh my God, this guy. This guy. Something's gonna happen to one of their kids. Gonna drown. Falter. Oh, free. Okay. So this was pretty tame by today's standards. But honestly, I mean, I kind of had the feeling something bad was going to happen because I remembered that in the other movie, the one with, what's his name? Good Lord, can't remember the silly kid's name. Daniel Radcliffe. Holy cow. That his character died. I don't remember how he died. But anyway, and he was a widower. So he was kind of depressed and not really all that interested in living, I think, from what I remember. But the thing about this is that I don't really understand why did this ghost attach. So other people knew of her. They knew of her presence, but she never attached herself to anybody else except for him. And it doesn't make any sense. Why? Is it just, does it not even matter why? Because she's just a ghost and she's malevolent spirit and it doesn't matter. She's just going to kill whoever she attaches herself to. I mean, it almost seemed like it was a personal thing, but I still don't really quite, I don't know. I am not really connecting with this too much. It's not, it didn't really generate in me a huge feeling of like being scared or a huge feeling of dread, like how sometimes I feel when I'm really connected with a character. It felt like his descent into like some sort of madness happened a little bit too quick. He gets freaked out. He gets sick. He's hearing things. But it seemed to me that his reaction to the things that happened was a huge overreaction. Like he's ready to burn down his office practically. He started to strangle his boss because he was mad. Like we didn't see enough of a descent into some sort of madness that would justify the way he was acting when he came home. And then why did the ghost follow him there? Was it just because she had, like I said, attached herself to him? And that's why? So burning the possessions didn't matter. She attached herself to this human. I don't know. It feels like it was the ending was sudden and abrupt, and it feels like it should have been fleshed out a little bit more. This was a TV movie, so obviously they had to, they had commercials and stuff. The movie itself was about an hour and 40 or 41 minutes. So plenty of time to tell a decent story, but for some reason you have all these ominous undertones, and the people, they're all aware of all this stuff, and I don't know. I'm not coming away from this with any sort of wow factor or what was the point of it all or moral of the story, or I mean, I guess there's not supposed to be one. It's just supposed to be horror. This ghost, she kills him. The end. But the way it was this based on a book? I want to know if this is based on a book. And if so, let's see if this is based on a book. I'm going to check it right now. It's a play. It is a book. It's a book written by Susan Hill. The book was in 1983. And isn't she the one that wrote a book about the Phantom? Because I thought I saw I wonder if the book is any better. I mean, I'm assuming that the book probably ends in much the same way. They get killed. So I have no interest now in listening to the book or reading the book. I don't even know if there's an audiobook of this. It says her novels are written in a descriptive Gothic style. Maybe she didn't do the thing about Phantom. Maybe I'm confusing that with something else. No, I must be confusing it. I must be confusing. There was a book called Phantom. I think it was just called Phantom. And it was some sort of take on Phantom of the Opera. I never read it, but I thought the author was Susan Hill or Susan something. Anyway, whatever. When I saw her name, I wondered if that was her. Okay, so I've answered my own question. This was based on a book. Then it was turned into a play. And then it was made into a movie. I'm not a huge fan of this. I liked Event Horizon better than this. But I don't know how much of that is just the way it was written for TV and how it feels really tame. But I wasn't crazy about the 2012 edition either, version either. I just didn't. It's hard to do ghost stories really good. And because part of it is because supernatural stories like ghost stories, they don't really, I don't know. I don't necessarily connect with them very well. So, and I'm trying to think of one now that I like The Conjuring 2. That was more, yeah, I mean, I like The Conjuring 2. I like The Conjuring. I feel like that was fairly well done. But supernatural horror in general, it's just not something that is my favorite. And while I don't feel like it was a waste of time that I watched this. You know, I was exposed to something I hadn't seen before and hadn't heard of before. Didn't even know that this was, you know, had been, I didn't know anything about it before the 2012 version. But this is not something that I would necessarily watch again. So I feel like kind of my response to this and my reaction to this is rather lackluster. So I think what I'm going to do is go back through the polls and see which one was the third on the list. Because there were different suggestions, different polls. I think I made 2 different polls. So I'm going to go back through and check those and see what other ones were on the list. Remind myself of other ones that were on the list and see if they interest me enough to check them out. If not, maybe I'll make another poll for suggestions on something new to watch. But there's so much stuff out there. I mean, it's not like I'm at a loss as to things to watch. It's just sometimes I like to be guided a little bit or, you know, watch this. This is good. And then I kind of have a focus. Okay, I'm going to do that. Otherwise, I look at all this stuff and there's so much to choose from. Sometimes I don't know where to begin. That was the reason that I, you know, did the polls, because I wanted some sort of, you know, focus point of where to start. Anyway, whatever. One thing I really did like about this, as I had mentioned before in one of my earlier video recordings of this, was the sound. I really like the sound, the Foley. Man, it was the microphones were so sensitive you could hear all their swallows. That got to me after a bit. But that's just because I'm in audio work, and so sometimes those noises kind of get under my skin a little bit. But I liked the audio quality, the voice, the way their voices sounded. It was almost a little bit ASMR-like, honestly. But the story as a whole, I don't know. I don't know. Not my favorite, unfortunately. So, well, it's okay. It's all right. I've got this watched. This one's under my belt. So I shall move on to something else, some other movie. But for now, I think I'm going to move on to maybe some type of comedy reaction or something. Trying to get a collection of recordings under my belt because next month I'll be going to California for a few days. And I want to have enough material that I don't fall behind on stuff to put up. So Okay, well, I can't think of anything else, so I'm going to go ahead and shut up now. Later, guys.